welcome to this introduction to Franz Liszt's B minor Sonata for piano. This is the 9th part of my tempo project, and in a way this part represents a synopsis of what we have been discovering and discussing throughout the last years. I would like to take this opportunity at the beginning of this introduction to talk about the A Tempo project in a more general way, about its background and about its development. The starting point of the A Tempo project was an experience or a feeling that I've had multiple times, both as a listener and as a performer. I would attend a concert and I would feel that the music was performed way too fast. I felt that I had no time to actually hear the richness and depth of a work. There was a focus on speed that made so many wonderful details of a piece of music get lost. More and more I got annoyed in a way with that experience, and I wanted to start experiencing music differently. That's how I discovered the importance of tempo. I discovered that indeed tempo was an issue within the classical music. I learned that other people had similar experiences as I had, and that they had thought about the same questions as I did. I realized that I was not alone in my desire to slow down and to focus on other things than speed. That's how I started my own journey into the world of tempo and historical performance practice in general. I was most interested in musicological theories that talked about different tempo practices in the 19th century. That's how I discovered the somewhat controversial thesis of double beat. A thesis that suggests a totally different understanding of the metronome compared to our understanding today. This thesis mostly concerned the music of Beethoven, but also other composers such as Schumann or Chopin. This different understanding of the metronome would result in tempi being half as fast as they appear to be today. I was excited about that. Finally, a different view on tempo. I read a lot and I participated in musicological events and discussions on the subject. I quickly noticed that in terms of that double beat theory, there was an actual war going on between its defenders and its detractors. This war had been waged ever since the double beat theory was first presented in 1980. Instead of directly engaging myself in those fights, I decided to contribute something else. I decided to contribute actual music to the discussion. I wanted to try how the music would actually sound if the theory was true. I felt that within arguments over historical sources, the voice of music was crucial. That's how I created the first volume of the A Tempo project, Beethoven A Tempo, with 2 piano sonatas by Ludwig van Beethoven, Opus 2 number 1 in F minor and Opus 110 in A flat major. Later on, I did the same thing with Robert Schumann's magnificent Fantasy in C major, Opus 17, and Chopin's first book of the Etudes, Opus 10. I presented an interpretation of those works that was inspired by the double beat approach and that offered a significantly slower rendition. What I discovered was a totally different experience of music. All of a sudden, I was able to hear every single detail of those works. I felt a noticeable benefit in terms of content, profoundness, and simple beauty of those works. At the same time, I did proper scientific research on the issue of double beat counting. I presented my results in a short introduction on historical metronome markings and tempo, which is available both on YouTube and on DVD. The quintessence of my research is that on a purely historical level, the likelihood of the double beat theory being accurate, and with that the likelihood of historical tempi being totally different from our habits today is limited. The option can't be excluded, mainly for the music of Beethoven, in my opinion, but it also can't be denied that there are lots of things that speak against such a slower option. Now, there I was, left with a musical experience, on one hand, that was most satisfying to me, liberating even. A way of playing and performing that completely worked and made me happy, and also my audience. And a scientific knowledge, on the other hand, that put the historical accuracy of such a musical experience into question.